Hello there, Atheist Junior here, your friend and humble narrator, and I'm coming to you guys with a brand new stream. We're going to be looking at this Is Kent Hovind a Narcissist video. Uh, I wanted to do a stream about this. Come to my surprise to when I'm logging on to, or trying to log on to Genesis Baptist Church, and I find out that the whole channel's been deleted, including this video. Luckily, somebody named Karisu uh, had the good sense to download the video and re-upload an archive of it. So yeah, let's get started. And I'm gonna fix the YouTube chat thingy while we listen to this stupid Hovind rant.
Hey folks, Kent Hovind here with Grantham Simpson, new stat. Well, been here 6 months now. You and your wife, she's secretary, and you do artwork around here and do all kinds of other things. There's a lot of rumors going around that Kent Hovind's a narcissist. I couldn't believe all the stuff on the internet. Today's January 17th, 2 days after my 72nd birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, yeah, belated birthday. So we're going to put this in the rumors section of on our Genesis Baptist Church channel. Go to the playlist, go to rumors, and there are 4 or 5 videos up there because I'd like to answer it, okay? Let's see. Here's somebody. Jim Jones and Kent Hovind, narcissism. Jim Jones and Kent Hovind, narcissist. Professor Gary Maynard teaches in the psychology department at Stony Brook University in Stony Brook, New York. And he has writings about Jonestown. Okay. Glad, okay? Somebody else at reddit.com. Kent Hovind is a fraud, a narcissist, an aider and abetter of pedophiles. That's a hilarious one. No pedophiles have ever spent the night here. Maybe we come visit sometime. But they're not allowed to stay here. Certainly
not. You approved Chris Jones being welcome at your park, despite the strong dissent from many people at DAL did not want you to do that, but you insisted on saying, this is my park. I'm at the end of the day, I decide it's my way or the highway, and he's welcome here. So you do let those people at your park, Kent. And look what happened.
Sleep with somebody. That's what the rumor going around. They're so desperate because they can't handle the truth about creation. So they got to find something else, ad hominem attack, okay? So tell the Reddit folks they're lying, okay? Lying, okay? A domestic abuser, this is simply crazy. It's not true. There was a lady, my wife, who lied about me body slamming her, and that case has been thrown out. And now there's another one coming up, so we'll talk about that some other time. But no, I'm not a domestic abuser.
Yeah, I just want to add, we have an extensive program that it takes to get in here of background checks and several references that are required. You can't just show up and
live
be here without us knowing who you are and what your background.
I have no idea.
Things like that. It's just simply not true.
Okay, let's see. Here's more YouTube.
I do not know who this other guy is, but Kent, you got to hold the mic. You got to talk into the mic, bro. Sorry.
Is Kent Hovind a narcissist? Is Kent Hovind a narcissist? And will his new church fall down? Hope not, brother. We're in it, okay? Narcissist. Debate bravado. Okay. Well, the Bible says a wise man will hear and increase learning. A man of understanding shall attain to wise counsels. I listen to advice. You got some good advice? I'll listen. Now, all advice is not good advice. You ever had some advice that was not good advice?
Yes,
okay. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, he'll love thee. You tell me I'm a narcissist, and if you can show me what the traits, I'll change. I really will. I want to please God. Okay. I just got off the tractor out there, brother. I'm a little so keep my hair. Never mind. Okay.
You look good.
Yeah, I look good. Okay. Give instruction to a wise man, he'll be yet wiser. Teach a just man, he will increase in learning. I want to do that. A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes into a fool. You got to beat the fool 100 times before he gets the message, and even then he don't get it. Seest thou a man wise in his own conceit? There's more hope of a fool than of him. Okay, the term narcissism originates from Greek mythology, the story of Narcissus. He was a handsome.
The angle of the video makes the guy look like he's flat. It does. That's so weird.
Youth who spurned the advances of the nymph Echo. As punishment, he was doomed to fall in love with his own reflection in a pool of water. Unable to consummate his love, Narcissus was ultimately transformed into the flower that bears his name. I didn't know that. There's a Narcissus flower. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's important to know for somebody.
You should know if you're going to be.
If I am one,
I
yeah.
know.
Okay. A youth, handsome youth who spurned the advances of the nymphomaniac Eco. As punishment, he fell in love with his own reflection. So Adolf Hitler had a technique of labeling the Jews as anything bad. He would call them, dregs of society. And if you stick a bad label on somebody, then that justifies doing bad things to them.
This is true. He wanted to associate the Jewish population with diseases, like they were inherently you more of a unclean, unhygienic type of people, and so you had a better chance of catching a disease if you were around them. So Hitler associated the Jewish population with sickness and with death, and he marginalized them. Very similar to how a lot of Christian campaigns have done the same thing. Look at the Spanish Inquisition or the Crusades, targeting a single outgroup like Muslims for their religious, persecuting somebody based on their religious status. It's the same playbook.
Beating them up, putting them in prison camps, killing them, exterminating them. He saw them as a threat to the Aryan race. He believed Jews controlled the Soviet Union and Western powers and were plotting to destroy Germany. This anti-Semitic ideology was the core component of Nazi propaganda and was used to justify the persecution and genocide of the Jews during the Holocaust. Hitler's rhetoric often portrayed Jews as enemies of the state. Boy, if you can get all the people to think they're enemies of the state, then it's okay to kill them. Hmm?
This is what the Republican Party has done with immigrants, trying to act like they're always going to be more violent than the average sovereign citizen or average state citizen would be, when that's shown to not be true.
And a threat to the culture and racial purity of the German nation. When the white man wanted to exterminate the Native Americans and steal their land, like all over here in Alabama where I'm at, they began slapping labels on them. They called them savages, an inferior species based on Darwin's.
Yeah, Christians targeting LGBT people, of course.
Boy, Darwin's book came out just at the right time to really help the white man justify the stupidity he was doing to the Indians around here. And we still have a lot of the names, Escambia County, Conecuh County. These are all Indian names around here. We kept the name. Anyway, so is Kent Hovind a narcissist? Look,
Yes.
if I am, and it's bad, I want to change. I promise. God, I want you to be happy, okay? Do they monopolize the conversation? They flaunt the rules of social convention. They fixation with their appearance. Oh, God, hang on a second. My hat. Unreasonable expectations, disregard for other people, praise, and more praise. It's everyone else's fault. They fear abandonment. The narcissist lives in a fantasy. There are always strings attached. So I said, Grant.
This describes you very well, Kent. Very well. Like, that's exactly accurate to describe how you are and how you act, Kent. So how are you not that?
A couple of days ago, I was calling around homes, boot camp homes for young teens, okay? And I called and said, look, I've got young teens that have problems. You guys take them in and try to help them get over their problem, okay?
We've got young teens on standby here at DAL to pick up the phone.
And I called around. One was in Montana. And they said, I called one in New Jersey, one in Georgia. I talked to the counselor there. Here's the symptoms. What does this mean? If a teenager does A, B, C, what does that mean? And one of them said, they're smoking marijuana. I said, what? Yeah. They said, that's the classic symptoms. They're probably vaping and hiding it. Delta 8 or one of those. I've never taken drugs, never tasted alcohol. I had NyQuil a couple times. But
Delta 8 and Delta 9 are analogs of the THC molecule, and they are sold legally in lots of gas stations and CBD shops. It's not the regular THC molecule, which is still illegal to have weed that is basically using that version of the THC molecule. But yeah, you can legally buy. Sorry, I'm getting a text. You can legally buy vapes all over the place now. Now, is it as good as the regular thing, as a real thing? I don't think so. But it is legal to buy. It will still pop on a drug test. If you smoke it, you'll still fail a drug test, but it's not illegal to possess or to buy. So if these people are of age, then they haven't done anything legally wrong. And if they have done something legally wrong, who are you to criticize anyone, Kent? You've broken the law tons of times, dude.
So they said vaping marijuana. Okay, I don't know. Anyway, when I mentioned this to you, that I was trying to help this young lady, get some help, psychological and physical treatment, you said, I used to work at that place. Now, we won't call the name of it, but I said, Grantham, since you've done this and you worked there and you know about this kind of stuff, would you write a quick summary based on classic narcissism and tell me, am I one? If so, how do I fix it? So here, I want you to start reading and hit this middle button here when you want to go down.
All right.
Okay? There it is. Okay. Tell us about this.
Psychologists have several theories about how and why NPD, which is narcissistic personality disorder.
Okay, Kent, you need to realize that you're our presenter here, Kent. You have not established who the F this guy is or what his credibility is supposed to be. I have no idea who he is. Why is he narrating this video now, all of a sudden? Why the change? This is weird, and it comes off as something that a narcissist would do because you want to have somebody else read it about you instead of reading it yourself. Why not just do it yourself, Kent?
Develops in some people. The crux of these theories centers around the idea that the narcissist suffered a great psychological wound early in life. This usually resulted in some form of trauma, likely abuse or neglect. This in turn caused individuals with NPD to create a false self. Narcissists are frightened, fragile people. Rejection, humiliation, and even the tiniest of defeats will shake them to their core. This leaves narcissists wholly focused on their image. What upbringing creates a narcissist? The development of narcissistic traits is in many cases a consequence of neglect or excessive appraisal. In some cases.
Okay, so this is the root issue right here. Kent Hovind has received an undue and undeserved amount of praise over the years for his seminar series, which he hawks like literally religiously as like an infomercial on his videos and even in his debates. In his debates, he even tries to sell his DVD series that has not changed since the early 2000s, that he thinks is his magnum opus and his intellectual property, which it is, but it's not like, not to say that it's not like worth anything, but the information in it is bullshit. It's not real. Kent's lying. So the fact that you're selling a video of you lying and making money off of it is inherently immoral. And you have gotten excessive appraisal for the seminar series, Kent, and undeserved fame, and it's gone to your head. You have a ridiculous ego, and that's what makes you a narcissist.
This pathological self-structure arises under childhood conditions of inadequate warmth, approval, and excessive adulation, where parents do not see or accept the child as they are.
Well, I've told people many times, I had almost the ideal childhood. My dad was the only survivor of his platoon. He was a sergeant in the Marines in World War II fighting the Pacific Theater. Genius guy. I worked in the early days.
Maybe all that's true, Kent. That's great, but those are your dad's accomplishments, not yours. So I don't know why you feel the need to mention them.
Of radar. And he came home from the war, married his childhood sweetheart, and had three. I'm the third son. And he taught us boys everything. I had plenty of warmth, approval, and I knew what I wanted. I wanted to learn everything when I was a kid. My dad put that in me. So I don't think that applies. Let's see. Is he a narcissist? Well, either he is or he's not, or maybe he has some of the traits of a narcissist. Following Dad's advice, Dad would always say, when there's a problem, list all the options, even if they're stupid. Then go back and look at the list.
Why does having a good dad mean you're not a narcissist? Are people who had good fathers, is it impossible for them to become narcissists, Kent?
If he is, letter A, is that bad to be a narcissist?
Yes, it is. It's considered a personality defect.
Could it be a needed trait for the job God called him to? Some people.
No, because God doesn't exist, Kent. So no, that would just be an excuse you made up in your head.
Will need to have some of those traits, okay? Whose job is it to tell him and fix it? Is it worth the cost to fix it?
Whose job is it to tell it and fix it? What is that supposed to mean? Whose job is it? Okay. Sorry, I'm having trouble fixing this stupid thing. So we have a super chat from Lord Pooh, Lord Illuminus Pooh for $5. I have 5 PhDs from Abide University, including pop culture studies and rockology. They're as valid as the inmates. Well, thank you, Lord Pooh, for the super chat. I appreciate that.
Is it the wife's job to fix it? Is it the children's job to fix it? When does calling him that become nagging? The 3rd time they call him, the 7th time? When is it nagging? So, following Dad's advice, maybe he's not. Once people put a false label on like this, it's next to impossible to get it off. Peel that label off, okay? Think of the long list of godly people who've been falsely accused and wrongfully imprisoned. Joseph, Jeremiah, Daniel, John on Patmos, Paul in Philippi, Rome, Jesus in the house of Caiaphas. Einstein said insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Followers are more satisfied with leaders who have a small dose of narcissism, from Psy Post, I guess that's Psychology Post, okay? Subordinates tend to be most satisfied with leaders who display a small degree of narcissism. They like a leader who knows what he's doing and wants to get there, okay? Get there.
Yeah, a
There's
small
good evidence
degree.
to suggest high-power executives
small
show greater
degree,
amounts
Kent.
of narcissism, from Inc.com.
A small degree. You exhibit all of the symptoms, though. That's not the same thing.
Okay. All great leaders are narcissists, but not all narcissists are great leaders. Here's
There
why.
you go.
I'm coming up
Perfect.
to what you wrote in a minute here, and I want you to read that. I'm sorry, I thought I was done to my
Perfect summation. Okay? There you go, Kent. You just refuted your own argument.
slides. What presidents were narcissistic? According to the rankings, the president that scored the highest on measures of narcissism among the 19 who held the office over this period, Lyndon Johnson. Johnson served between 63 and 69, followed by Teddy Roosevelt and Richard Nixon. Newsweek considers them narcissists. What to do when someone accuses you of being a narcissist? Respond. Don't react by giving your retort with a cool confidence. That's what I'm hoping to do, okay? If they accuse you of not caring about them, you might say, I care deeply about you. If a narcissist coworker accuses you of not doing your job, you might reply, I just don't see it that way. I'm doing my work. Will a narcissist blame you for being a narcissist? Is this typical in your study? A person who actually is a narcissist will try to slap that label on other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's typical of a narcissist.
Yeah. They would do that. And you're doing that right now.
To call other people narcissists and accuse them of narcissism, it boosts that person's ego and it makes them a pure victim. If I label you as a narcissist,
That's what Kent always does in every situation. He always makes himself the victim and blames everyone else.
and it sticks, and if I can pick one characteristic out of yours or 5 that maybe are leadership characteristics or just self characteristics, and I can label it. Now, you like vanilla ice cream, I like chocolate ice cream. And if I come from a narcissist,
I hate this oversimplification so much. This is such a dumbing down of a much more morally and emotionally charged issue that we have with Kent. They're not fucking ice cream flavors.
abusive past where I've been abused by narcissists, I'm hyper aware of narcissism, and I'm hyper aware that might
And yet you're sitting next to Kent Hovind and you think he's not one. Okay.
be a narcissist there. Wait a second, is it happening again? And then so if we have disagreement, I might wait a second, that's narcissism. And it boosts my ego, makes me better than a narcissist, and it puts me.
Okay, we have another super chat from Lord Pooh. Lord Illuminous Pooh. Okay. Allow me to introduce myself. I am the humble Lord Reverend Illuminous Pooh, PhD, leader of the Illuminati, world's strongest man, and Times Person of the Year 2006 and 2011. Well, if you said that in a $10 super chat, I'm going to say that it must be true. And I feel honored that you would grace my channel with your presence.
In the position as the pure victim, the perpetual victim.
Yeah, that's Kent, the perpetual victim. That describes Hovind.
So at that point, anything that you do is a symptom of narcissism. So yeah, it's very common that's a narcissist cannot self-evaluate and cannot apologize.
All right. And if they can label you a narcissist, it justifies them doing things to you, stealing things and beating you up and shooting you and hanging you in from the gallows.
You got to survive.
Yeah, okay. People who have narcissistic personality disorder cannot tolerate the idea that they might be to blame. So they accuse someone else.
There you go. You're describing what you're doing.
Instead, Psychology Today. How to respond when someone calls you a narcissist. I just quickly put some slides together when somebody called me that. I said,
Make a huge, long, dedicated video saying, am I a narcissist? Where you get an underling to come and read the article for you to show how important you are.
let me see if I am. If so, help me, Lord. If someone called you a narcissist, you're probably wondering why, how to reply, and whether they were right to call you that. It's painful to be given such a harsh label. But if you remain calm and respectful, you can take steps to solve the issue. In this article, we'll explain all the different ways you can respond to the accusation and help you reflect on the situation. So this is from, you can read that for yourself, a couple years ago. How to respond, who's that? I don't know what company did that. And we got the whole article here. Consider what they said, if you have the traits, etc. Understand it's not a diagnosis. Keep calm.
Yeah, neither is all the times that you've tried to diagnose Cindy Lincoln with having bipolar disorder, Ken.
Don't take it personally. Apologize if you're in the wrong. Ask them why they think that, or ignore it and move on. Tell them how it made you feel. Okay? Make a funny quip. Look for
Make a funny quip. Things you should not do to diffuse an argument.
warning signs that they're not.
Tell me how I know from experience. Okay, we have another super chat from Lord Illuminous Poo for $2. It says, just Google Times Person of the Year 2006. Oh, we have Furious Slack, who I just met in the chat. How you doing?
Narcissistic. The ones who call you that might be themselves, okay? Talk to a professional if you're worried. What if a narcissist called you a narcissist? Narcissists use it as a way to punish people who didn't behave in the way they wanted. I've had plenty of that, haven't I?
There you go.
It is only another way for the narcissist.
There you go, Kent. You're just showing that this is true.
To manipulate, to blame and assert control on the victim. It's a highly effective passive-aggressive tool for the abuser to cause emotional distress to the victim. Signs you're not a narcissist. You want to educate yourself, okay? You see.
Which you don't, Kent. You don't want to learn anything.
You're up for seeing a therapist if you need more help. You don't have a string of broken relationships behind you. You struggle with.
That's exactly what you have, Kent.
With anxiety, self-doubt after the breakup. You're able to apologize genuinely.
You cannot do that. So you get a big fat F on that one.
You don't keep contact with your ex to see how they're doing.
Do you, Kent? Are you going to acknowledge any of these things instead of just reading them?
Let them go, okay? You're reading this post.
Okay.
The fact that you read it indicates maybe you're not, okay? So here's what you wrote, brother. I asked you to analyze this whole situation. You've known us for 6 months. How long?
So that makes him qualified?
How long before you came here did you know about our ministry and watch videos and stuff?
Oh, a few years for sure. Yeah, I was pretty well exposed to you and the ministry here before we came here. And I'll say this too, I am not a mental health professional.
Well, there you go. So your opinion is worthless.
This is simply my experience of what I have experienced. And I mean, I've had some experience but I cannot diagnose or misdiagnose, but I can give my experience, and my educated experience. So non-biasedly, when I brought my family here,
Don't think non-biasedly is a word.
I came in as a Berean to search the scriptures and let me compare what I'm seeing done here in this ministry, what I'm seeing done in the leadership and everything.
Why are Kent's PowerPoint slides cropped so badly? They're like blocking this guy.
With what the scripture says and what I see to be true. And so I have come to these conclusions by watching, studying, listening, and learning, not by a blind loyalty or trying to come up in dinosaur adventureland. Can you do that? Can you?
Everybody here's as high as they can go.
Okay.
We're all servants.
So not that, yeah. It's just seeking truth. I want to save souls.
which Kent does not do.
So, and that
This is what you wrote.
That's
When
what I
I
wrote.
asked you to diagnose. So read that and tell me. I'll hit the next button. Go
Sure.
ahead.
Misdiagnosed narcissistic personality overview. Oh, by the way, my sources are from the Mayo Clinic, and it's documented. Okay. Misdiagnosed narcissistic personality overview of Dr. Hovind. A narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need and seek too much attention, and they want people to admire them. People with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. But behind this mask of extreme confidence, they are not sure of their self-worth and are easily upset by the slightest criticism.
Which describes Kent accurately. I don't know what else you can really add to this video. It's just all... Yes, according to your resource, Kent is a narcissist.
Dr. Hovind's sense of his own importance is not unreasonably high, especially given the ministry he is responsible for overseeing. This is my response. In fact, in his goal to remain humble, I have seen him repeatedly downplay his importance and personal impact to the extent that led to problems, such as people repeatedly taking advantage of this ministry for financial, social, emotional, and physical gain. To the eye of someone who is in fact a narcissist or has a low understanding or respect for what it takes to run an international ministry, Dr. Hovind's position and required approach will incite envy and resentment, leading to that.
Oh, so that's what it is. It's not that Kent is a narcissist. It's just that we're all incredibly jealous of him and all wish we had his life. That's why. That explains the situation.
Person to label this leadership trait as narcissistic.
Oh, Kent is also not a doctor, and neither are you.
So it takes a lot to be in charge and responsible for all of this.
Dr. Hovind does not seek personal attention? Is that a joke? Just by virtue of being on YouTube, you're seeking personal attention. That's the whole point.
All of this, the millions of people that get the views, and just the weight of carrying the gospel, the weight of carrying the truth of teaching.
Oh, Carice's birthday is tomorrow. Well, happy early birthday, bro.
The weight of the responsibility of teaching the truth about creation. It takes a lot to watch over the camp, watch over the flock, to, especially with being so high on Satan's radar and so much attack. Yeah, it takes a lot.
Satan has radar? Does he have other military technology?
And people think that is, well, that's narcissist, you know, and so we'll get more into that. Dr. Hovind does not seek personal attention. Personal attention makes him uncomfortable. It does. It's weird. The duties of the leader of such a ministry at
Hang on. Let me point out, I have not read all this that you wrote. I copied it and pasted it in here, and some of this I read, but I'm hearing most of this for the first time. I'm wide open here for whatever you want to say, brother. Go ahead.
All right.
The duties of the leader.
The stakes have risen.
The duties of the leader of such a ministry as Dinosaur Adventureland and anyone responsible for teaching are often social. There must be great thought and time put into making the guests comfortable.
And saying that personal attention makes Kent uncomfortable, that's just obviously not true. Kent is very comfortable in the spotlight.
Public evangelism that Dr. Hovind has done, and the countless people who have come to Christ because they were educated about the truth of creation through his seminars, shows, recordings, appearances, and books. People are often coming to specifically see and speak to him. 100.
Yeah, that's the whole point, because he's built a cult of personality based on lies.
100% of the time, I've witnessed a person giving Dr. Hovind the glory. 100% of the time,
Oh, giving Dr. Hovind the glory? I thought God was supposed to get the glory. Isn't Dinosaur Adventureland the place where God gets the glory instead of the stupid evolution pagan religion? Now we're saying that Dr. Kent is the one who actually needs to get the glory. Why is that not surprising?
I have witnessed a person giving Dr. Hovind the glory. I've witnessed him respond by
give Dr. Hovind, come on, give Dr. Hovind the glory hole. Hovind? Glory?
passing the glory right to God. When someone fawns over his celebrity status, I have watched
Oh, come on. When someone fangirls over Kent Hovind?
him change the subject. When someone wants to talk about him, I have watched him artfully direct the conversation towards talking about God's creation or towards the guest's own testimony. Recognition comes with the role that Dr. Hovind is in, and I have seen him navigate it with humility. I have watched him resist the temptation of personal pride in these areas in a way that I have never seen a ministry leader ever do. After a long day of leading tours, teaching, answering questions,
Wow, don't forget to cup the balls, dude.
and being social, Dr. Hovind can often be found eating alone and studying for his next sermon or debate. These characteristics are the polar opposite of a narcissist that's seeking attention or admiration. The position
No, it's possible to do both.
of the top leader, whether that position be identified as pastor, leader, shepherd, boss, captain, general, etc., is
Also, He-Man. You have to call me Doctor. I'm an astronaut. I'm an esquire. I'm a king. I'm a lord. And I'm a higher rank than Captain Crunch. Hovind?
a lonely one, although the position requires much interaction. Every good leader knows, as every good leader knows, often you cannot put someone's personal feelings over the good of the overall goal.
Maybe not necessarily, but the well-being and emotional status of the people that work under you is very important to achieving the goal that you as a functional unit should be working towards. So if you don't care about their personal feelings, at some point you're going to possibly upset them, and that's only going to make them less effective or less good at their job that you're supposedly they're volunteering there to help God out, to help God's ministry. So if you want to screw that up, Kent, why would you not care about their personal feelings?
That does not mean that the leader does not understand or acknowledge others' personal feelings. This only means that the leader must sometimes make the difficult decision that one's personal feelings, especially the leader's personal feelings, must be put on hold for the good of the whole.
But how does demanding that Chris Jones be welcome at DAL help the whole of DAL and its residents? Because that's where you're disregarding people's personal feelings to make a difficult decision, where you say that, no, it's my way or the highway, and I say that Chris Jones is welcome here. When that doesn't benefit anyone, and you're directly disregarding the personal feelings of several families that were at DAL that had a legitimate reason to be worried, and then the predicted thing actually happened. So, like, what do you have to say for that?
In light of constant attacks and public humiliation attempts on Dr. Hovind's character, I have never seen his self-worth be shaken at all. This is because Dr. Hovind's self-worth does not come from how he identifies it. It comes from how God identifies
And how would you know that? Are you in direct communication with God? I don't think so.
it. A Christian value in the eyes of God, a Christian's value in the eyes of God eliminates their value of importance in the eyes of themselves. God values a person so much that he gave his son to die for them.
But how does giving your son to die for them, how does that benefit anybody? I've never understood this. I've never had any Christian be able to explain this to me. How do you have somebody's son die for you? Like, dying for someone implies that you are dying in their place. Jesus dying for my sins doesn't have any direct effect on my daily life. But if you don't sin, then technically Jesus died for nothing.
Dr. Hovind does not have self-worth. He has unshakable kingdom worth.
That's just gibberish.
All right, this is not my response. This is back to the article. A narcissistic personality disorder causes problems in many areas of life, such as relationships, work, school, or financial matters.
Yeah, except Kent Hovind doesn't go to school. School's out. School's out for Hovind.
People with narcissistic personality disorder may be generally unhappy and disappointed when they are not given the special favors or admiration that they believe they deserve.
Which is exactly what Kent does, again.
They may find their relationships troubled and unfulfilling,
Accurate.
and other people may not enjoy being around them.
That also happened a bunch of times.
Treatment for narcissistic personality disorder centers around talk therapy, also called psychotherapy. Narcissistic personality disorder affects more males than females and often begins in the teens or early.
My neon sign is better than Kent's.
child or early adulthood. Some children may show traits of narcissism, but this is often typical for their age and does not mean that they'll go on to develop narcissistic personality disorder. Symptoms of a narcissistic personality disorder and how severe they are can vary. People with the disorder can have an unreasonably high sense of self-importance and require constant, excessive admiration.
I don't know how else to say this, but that describes Kent perfectly.
Okay,
You know?
I think I did it right. From the Mayo Clinic Family Health book, I put the red box around what the Mayo Clinic says, and then the rest of this is your comments on that. Okay?
Yeah.
So right there. So you're talking about symptoms can vary.
Yeah, it can vary, high sense of self-importance and require constant admiration. And
You guys think that Kent wrote this? I don't think he did, but I mean, it doesn't surprise me that this other guy wrote it about Kent.
So I addressed that in the paragraphs above you really can find him just sitting alone. He doesn't like the admiration.
That doesn't make him not a narcissist, though.
It makes him uncomfortable. He will, when we came here, I was like, Dr. Hovind, he's right there. And I wanted to talk to him about how long I've been watching his videos, how much we love him, how all these things. And I wanted to get his autograph and stuff. And he,
Yeah, this isn't contributing to the problem at all.
he shooed me off. It was weird because my wife and I looked at each other because I was confused because when I would talk about him and his status, he would shoo me off with a joke. He would tell me a joke about
So what?
Boudreaux and everybody from Louisiana because we're from New Orleans.
By the way, your wife's right here. She's one of the secretaries here. We got 3 secretaries helping them.
Yeah, and
Why? Why do people continue to help this man? Okay, we have a super chat from a user account that says it's Sandra Hovind for $1.99. I don't know if that's actually her, but it says wasting DAL funds to say he wanted the Prius. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for sending me a super chat.
and so every time we would talk about him, he wouldn't respond. He would change the subject, and usually change it towards what the ministry
Sandra should definitely come on my channel and talk to me. I'm sure that's actually her.
is doing, or a joke. And so at first I took it personally. I thought maybe he just didn't want to talk to me about these things. But since then, in the months that we've been here, I've watched him do that. I've watched you do that with every person that comes here. So much so, like he won't talk about himself.
He does it all the time.
So much, and that's an anti-narcissistic trait. So much so that I have multiple times had to explain to people, don't be offended. It's because they've been like, I really want to talk to him about, what he's done for my life and me and what his videos and how famous what all these
Oh my God, shut up. This is so stupid. What a stupid, pointless video.
things. But he didn't want to talk about that. He's just talking about dinosaurs and about creation. I'm like, don't be offended. That's humility. That's what humility looks like. He's not here to talk about him. He's here to spread the message. And I've really had to, because I've never told you this.
First I heard it.
I really had to explain this to a lot of people. So they were like, oh, that's humility. Yeah. It's not that he doesn't want to talk to you. It's that he doesn't want to talk about himself. So anyway, so we addressed that. Okay, next question. The next symptom, they feel that this narcissist feel that they deserve privileges and special treatment. As the leader and founder of an international ministry that leads millions, Dr. Hovind is also responsible for his staff at Dinosaur Adventureland. So not just everybody.
I can't believe this video is still got another 20 minutes left. I feel like I don't even know what I can continue to say at this point, because any symptoms, I'm just like, yeah, that's exactly what Kent does. And what else can you say? Yeah, Kent is a narcissist. Everything that they've presented as evidence that he's not one in this video has just supported that obvious fact. So yes, we know Kent is a narcissist. It's obvious to anybody who has a functional level of emotional intelligence. They'd be able to recognize that this is just obviously Kent's character flaw.
Directly physically, he's responsible for a lot of people here, and it matters. This position obviously requires him to have different privileges and treatment than other staff and volunteers. You may not treat or address the boss the same way. You do not treat or address the boss the same way you would treat or address a staff member. With high responsibility requires great access that the common worker is not qualified for. The narcissist will see this as special treatment and privileges. The narcissist will expect to be recognized as superior even without achievement.
Let me talk about that. There's a evil trait going around in our public schools particularly, where the idea that everybody gets a trophy. You know, when I was in school, you had to achieve something to get a trophy, okay?
Yeah.
But now, everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets.
That's just not a thing. That's not how things work. You still have to play sports and be on like a winning team to win in high school sports. Like maybe at like a daycare or like an elementary school they might do something like this, but it's not at the higher levels of competition, so who cares? And I thought Kent didn't care about the fairness of sport, right? Kent is just like, oh, football is just a bunch of guys in tight pants trying to fight over the same ball when they're all rich enough to go buy their own. So you discount the validity of the NFL as a sport, yet now all of a sudden you're like, oh, they just give everybody trophies for participating in sports. You know, I suddenly care about the validity of sportsmanship. Shut the fuck up, Kent.
It's a certificate. Everybody gets a ribbon. Everybody's a winner. This is stupid. They don't do that in the Olympics. They don't do that in pro sports. I mean,
exactly. So who cares?
You got to win the game to get the trophy. Okay, and so I think this is a phenomena that some people think we should just praise everybody. Not if they're doing nothing.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be openly hostile to people if you can avoid it either.
Like the Patch the Pirate, who's the VeggieTales have the song, The Pirates Who Don't Do Anything. Have you heard that one?
I have.
Hilarious. Well, if you don't do anything, you're not going to get any praise or admiration or trophy or eventually money. That's why it's so evil about socialism. They reward people that sit on the couch and do nothing all day.
That's not true at all. You don't understand anything about socialism, Kent.
And they still get a paycheck. The Bible says, if you don't work, you don't eat. That's a motivation to get to work.
Yeah.
Okay? So this idea that narcissists expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements. And some people don't achieve anything with their life, but they still want people to think they're the greatest thing ever. So anyway, go ahead, brother.
So an example of that would be if I attached myself to Dr. Hovind, I would
like a human centipede? Human Hovind-pede.
To be treated superior in other evangelist circles because I've attached myself to his achievements.
I'm struggling through this video, y'all. This is hard to fucking watch. I hope y'all are all grateful that I'm doing this stream.
Well, that would be narcissistic. Dr. Hovind does more work than anyone.
I suffer for your entertainment.
On this campus. No, he does more work than anybody here. When everyone clocks out at 4 o'clock, he continues into the night with study, show, and debate preparation.
Oh, so they keep a time clock at DAL? Does Kent force people to clock in and out before they go to work? Because that's what got him busted the last time when he said that he didn't actually have employees. He had missionaries that weren't being paid, but really they were, because they had a time clock and time cards, and Kent was keeping track of people's hours and then paying them based on how many hours they worked, which is an employee. And he was also offering them medical and dental benefits and vacation days, which is something an employer would do. So he was obviously lying to the government.
And online show hosting and guest appearances. Although in this field, his achievements and anointing make him superior, Dr. Hovind actively resists being treated this way.
Oh, so he is superior. Superior to what? A superior race? Or Dr. Hovind, the master race?
He is in the trenches right next to the rest of us.
No, he's not, though. No, he's not. Does he live at a cabin at DAL, or does he live in a house?
So a narcissist will make achievements and talents seem bigger than they are.
Which Kent does. That's exactly what he's done. His degrees are fake.
And Dr. Hovind routinely downplays his achievements and talents.
He should. His achievements are... it's literally the opposite that's true. He does the exact opposite. You're lying. Stop lying.
Even considering the vast number of his achievements and the amount of experience he has, Dr. Hovind remains humble.
He should be humble. because his degrees are fake.
5 minutes of actual conversation with him will reveal this to anyone who is able to be honest. And
You are unable to be honest, sir. You are a liar. So is Kent.
I challenge anybody to that. If you think this, come speak to
Come in.
this guy for 5 minutes. And if you're able to be honest and you don't have a preset conceived notion of who he is and you have your own experience, you'll see it. That's what I've done, truly. A narcissist will be preoccupied with fantasies about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate.
Yep, that's exactly how Kent is. That describes him. I actually have a video on my channel where I went through this exact same website that he's quoting, because this is the same quote I use in my video, and I just list the symptoms of narcissism, and my outcome is that, yeah, Kent has every one of these symptoms. I don't actually say in the video one way or the other because I don't actually want to diagnose him, but yeah, according to these websites, he absolutely does. He certainly displays these symptoms. You can't deny that.
So, fail.
No,
just kidding. You're good.
Is that why you got a beard, to cover up something?
Yeah. I'm hot. You should.
Okay.
I should be up here. All this, I'm latching on to you.
Oh, God. We have a super chat from Jonah Prescott for $5. It says, him saying Dr. Hovind makes me cringe so bad. Also, first super chat I've ever done. Keep it up. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the first time $5 super chat. That's awesome.
All the success that Dr. Hovind experiences go right back into the ministry. Financial, physical, social, mental, spiritual, all of
Kent doesn't look so good.
it. His God-given brilliance is not, I didn't expect to read this in front of you, by the way. This is a little awkward.
First time I heard it.
His God-given brilliance is not fantasy and the common desire to have a compatible
Yeah, this is not something a narcissist would do at all.
God-fearing mate is hardly an obsession.
Because Kent knew reading this thing himself would make him look like a narcissist. So he had somebody else read it. But either way, you're still a narcissist.
The narcissist will believe that they are superior to others and can only spend time with or be understood by equally special people.
All right, y'all. I have to give up. I'm tapping out of this video. It's been 30 minutes. I don't think I can go on like this. So I'm gonna end the stream here. But yes, the answer to the question is yeah, Kent, you're a narcissist. And this video has only made it more obvious. Jesus Christ, this is fucking rough. This was a rough one, dude. Thank you to the people who sent super chats, and to the people who showed up for my first stream back yesterday. It was like 80 people in the side chat, and it's already gotten like 2,000 views. Thank you. It's good to see that like people are still sticking around to support the channel. So thank you. Thank you to all the people who gave me words of encouragement yesterday. I appreciate that a lot. So check out my Twitter, Patreon, and all of my channel memberships too. Check out the perks, and I'll see you guys in the next